Oh, I am so excited to introduce everyone to Virginia Oman, therapist, counselor, life coach, inspirational speaker, and believes in transforming the impossible. Welcome, Virginia.
Thank you, Lindsay. It's an honor to meet you. I was saying before we went live how nice it is to hook up with another person who speaks the same kind of language that I do, because I'm all about the body mind connection. And, in my field as a mental health therapist, a life coach, also, I'm a certified personal fitness trainer and wellness coach. I combine all of those three things together with all my clients, and boy, it makes such a difference. And I know that you see this over and over with what you do, and it's wonderful to know that you're out there doing this. So
Well,
thank you.
right back. Yes, thank you. Right back at you. I'm jealous of your therapy background, and I feel like your clients are so lucky to have you. I can't even imagine being out doing a fitness routine with you and knowing that like we can talk all the emotional components and
Yeah,
unpacking that can happen in those sessions too. So your clients are
right.
super lucky. So you have an extraordinary story that I don't want to accidentally bypass over here. I feel like I have chills just even before letting you talk here because I know what's coming. Can you let our listeners in on why you believe in being able to change the impossible?
Yeah, certainly. I I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis back in 1988. Um, and I listened to what the medical establishment was recommending for me, because it seemed kind of logical. They seemed very sure that they knew the best way, the right way. And so I followed their advice, and I did pretty well. Most cases of MS are go into what's called relapsing remitting. In the beginning, they the symptoms come, but then they go for a while. Then they may reappear. And I was pretty lucky with that for a long time. But then, being MS, being a progressive neurological condition that takes away the body's ability to function, especially to move in terms of walking ability and balance, things progressed. And I took the advice of the establishment. They were recommending certain things, and I followed that. And I just watched month after month, I watched my body decline over and over. It was horrible, to the point where I ended up being in a wheelchair. And knowing that MS is progressive and just continues on, when I thought about my future, and I was a very active, high energy person, and all of a sudden here I am stuck in a wheelchair, having to give up all the activities that I love so much. It was devastating to me, because I'm not one of these people that can be satisfied with just living life, doing reading or doing sedentary things, or, for me, if my life doesn't have richness and fullness in it of all the things that I love, and there are millions of them, then it just doesn't have enough meaning for me. And so I got to the point where I was seriously considering ending it all and Xing it out. And it wasn't because I didn't want to live. It was because I wanted to live, but I wanted to have a future that was meaningful. And I didn't see a way to do that with what was happening to me. So it was very bleak. And what I found out was, when a person loses hope, then they've lost everything, absolutely everything. And so I came to a serious crossroads. And I had to make a decision. And I made the decision at the time. I said, I said to myself, I have nothing left to lose at this point. And my intuition spoke to me. And my intuition was speaking very loudly. And what I chose to do at that moment was listen to my intuition. And my intuition, I followed that because my intuition was telling me what my body needed. And I followed the voice of my intuition. I didn't follow the voice of the medical establishment anymore. And I didn't follow their prognosis. I listened to my body, and I devised a plan based on what my intuition was telling me, what my body was saying that it needed. I developed a plan, and I charted it out and made it real specific and real detailed. And then I followed the plan. And it was not easy. It involved a lot of effort. I did not see results right away. In fact, it was exhausting. But I was very determined to not die. I was very determined to live and to have a meaningful life. And it was that important to me. So I just decided I'm sticking with this. I don't care what these results are. I'm sticking with it. And I did. And, I see setbacks, didn't see anything good for quite a while, but I didn't give up. And I started and I just kept going. At the time, I obviously couldn't walk and I obviously couldn't run anymore. So I went into the water. And at that time, I couldn't even swim because I had no kick. My legs didn't have any coordination or strength left to kick. I had no access to those muscles anymore. So I developed my own stroke in the water, which was a body stroke. I was maneuvering my torso in a particular way through the water to try to get from one end of the pool to the other. And it was exhausting. And it was like an inch at a time I would move. But I kept at it. I just wanted this so much. And I kept at it. And day after day after day. And it was incredible where it took me. I also did other things in terms of what I was thinking about, what I was envisioning, the thoughts I was choosing to think, holistic, what I was choosing to put in my body in terms of nutrition, how much sleep, how much water. The whole is a whole regime. And I stuck with that. And it was incredible. First, I started noticing finally that I had more energy. And for a person with MS, that is huge because MS takes away all your energy and ends up, I was napping like 3 times a day.
Wow.
And it was just, I felt like I was just wasting life.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, I only had to nap once a day. And it's like, whoa, well, that's worth keeping this up. So I kept going. And I had a vision of me, what I wanted. What was that feeling that I wanted? I wanted to live. There's, the call to live was very strong within my body. And I was willing to do whatever to get there. So I just didn't take no for an answer. When my body wasn't responding right away, I didn't take that as an answer. I just kept going because I believed in my intuition. And yeah, week after week after week, but I started to see this progression of increased energy. And then I was able to make it to the other side of the pool doing this body dolphin stroke. Incredible. And then I kept going. And then I was able to make it back to the other side, all in kind of one movement. And then I had so much energy, I didn't need to nap. It happened week after week. I would notice this. I would feel better week after week after week. And I was charting this all. So the main thing it was giving me back, aside of energy, was hope.
Mhm.
And that was the key. When you have hope, you have everything.
Yeah.
And so I kept going. And then, believe it or not, I started to get access to my legs. And I was able to start slowly working on kicking. And so it took me from not being able to swim even one lap in the pool to then being able to do full strokes, lap after lap after lap. I wasn't going for speed,
Yeah.
lap after lap. And then, I ended up being able to swim, well, where I am now, 50 minutes of continuous laps in the pool, all different strokes. And it's incredible. So from that whole transformation, it became clear to me that, this is so important. I want to share this information with other people, and not just people that have lost hope because of a disability. It can be losing hope, feeling sadness and stuck for whatever reason. It could be a loss of a loved one, loss of hope because of any reason at all, severe depression, severe anxiety, feeling stuck, feeling hopeless. I just wanted to get this word out because these techniques and things that I implemented work. They work. And I started sharing them, and I started sharing them with others and seeing their results. And it was incredible. It was amazing. And the nice thing is, all these things are free. You don't have to invest in, so-called magic machines or magic medicine. No, it's all free, and it's all within you. It's all accessible within you as the person. And I'm just here to help show people the way to get there and to be able to celebrate with them their results. So that's what I've put into effect. And I've just, I developed a website with the help of some good friends, and we put out a video. The MS Association of America heard about my results. They came with a professional film crew from New York City and out to North Carolina, where I am, and made a film about me. And that's available for anybody to see. I have a part of that film on my website. So you can actually see the stroke that I developed in the water, where I was just utilizing my torso. You get to see a little snippet of that and kind of hear my message, because that's all I want to do now, is just share it with others and help them achieve what I found was I not only got my life back, but I got an even better life. I couldn't believe it. I not only have more energy and joy in my life than ever before, even before MS came into the picture. I mean, that's phenomenal for me. So it's been a total transformation. And yeah, I chose my symbol for my website of the phoenix, the mythological bird, the phoenix, because that's all about this mythological large bird that lifts itself up out of the ashes of death, where I was, and to fly again, fly up. And I had such great success, and I started walking with hiking poles. And then I decided, well, what else do I want to be able to do? So it was a springtime, and I thought, I want to be able to ride a 2-wheel bicycle again, unassisted. And everyone I talked to, but especially my neurologists, they said, this is impossible. It can't be done. Don't try it. It's way too dangerous. But again, I listened to what my body was saying, and I wouldn't take no for an answer. So again, I devised a plan right from the very beginning. I couldn't even balance on a bicycle at that time. So we started out on a child's bike without any pedals because I couldn't even lift my legs up to the pedals. We started there, and I just worked every day for hours, every day, every day, every day. 11 and a half months later, I was riding a full-size bike unassisted. And you'll see on my website, you'll see a video of that too.
I did see all of this. I saw you from wheelchair to walking to biking. And I mean, this had to blow the MS community out of the water as far as, again, for people watching you do this, so hope building, but also you're rocking the medical community in some sense as well. What type of conversations have you had with neurologists or other regular forms of treatment for MS?
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of conversation with them because I don't follow what's happening very much in the MS world because I choose not to. I choose not to focus on that. You know, I had the mantra in my head a long time ago that I may have MS, but MS does not have me. So I didn't want any identity with that. Not that I was denying that I had it. No, not at all. But I didn't want to focus on, always reading the MS magazines. I started going to some support groups, but stopped because they had no facilitator that was helping to facilitate a discussion that would go into a more productive. It was just, let's get together and talk about what's not working and how much we're frustrated and how much we're sad. There's a place and time for that, absolutely. But if that's all there is, week after week at a supposed support group, I didn't find it supporting.
Right.
So I've kind of stayed out of that genre. But I can tell you that the neurologists say things like, "Oh, you're the poster child for a person with MS. Just keep doing what you're doing," is what they're saying. And they can't, I think legally they're under certain guidelines that they can't advertise this, so to speak, because might feel like they're offering false promises and maybe lawsuits. I don't know. But they just say to me in private, keep doing what you're doing because it's phenomenal. It's incredible. So that's what I do.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you talk about making the impossible happen. Can you give us some of your coaching examples of who has come to you and other areas of life that you've seen somebody in a hopeless situation arise?
Sure. Oh, yeah. I worked with a woman who had MS and had been in a wheelchair for over 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
Was never even standing and had lost all hope. And she had a young daughter, and she'd lost all hope. And she was she felt like life was happening to her, like, we all do when we get to that place, and that she had no control, no say, no voice. And within a few short months of working with her, even after the first session, she said to me, "I feel hope for the first time in my life." And that feels so incredible. And I just hearing that, I knew we were on a good path. And so I got her to a point where she was standing. She was standing up for the first time. Unbelievable. Standing up. If you've been in a chair for over 20 years and you've seen life from that perspective, it's horrible. The amount of power it takes away from you, the amount of engagement that you lose from life. You're not on the same eye level as people. You're not seeing what they see, and you're treated differently because of that. So for her to be standing,
Yeah.
And then I'll just say,
Unbelievable.
when I work with my regular folks who don't have necessarily a disability, I'm working with people now with cancer who have feel beaten down and losing hope and worried and trapped in fear about the future. So I'm working really well with them, getting them going, and bringing in the body mind thing, and incredible turnaround with just some tools of giving them. I've been working with a person now for less than 2 months, and already the difference is there. Working with people with just regular depression and anxiety, but it's so overwhelming. It takes you to a place of feeling trapped and stuck and hopeless. After feeling that sense of hopelessness to the point where I wanted to exit out of life, anything I can do to keep another person from experiencing that's what I want to do. I'm sorry, you were going to ask me something.
No, I love what you're just saying. I was just curious if you notice, because I'm sure you feel this way, just individualized journey with each client. Do you notice, depending on what your focus is with that person, that you have to hone in on a specific area? So for instance, like, do you head more fitness or movement initially with an MS client, and the mind part, the sleep, the food is all part of it, but there's a heavier focus in one area? Or like with a depressed client, anxiety? Or do you really feel like it all falls equal of importance?
Thank you for asking that question. I'd never thought of that. I'd say, reviewing briefly in my head now, I'd say there's not a big difference. There is not a big difference.
Interesting.
Because a lot of what we end up with, as we all know, we come into this world so bright and limitless. And then by the time we're in our early 20s, we're all bogged down with negative self-statements, self-doubt, feelings of not being important, not being loved, not being valuable. And that's true all the way across the board. It doesn't matter if I'm working with a person with disability, a physical disability, or not. It's the same story that I see every single time somebody comes in to work with me for whatever reason. So, yeah. So a lot of it is understanding the mind-body and body-mind connection. And if a person goes to my website, they'll see I posted a free document that I wrote there that just helps people to understand, what is that? What is that connection? Why is it important? And why do I need to bother learning about it? That's the first place I would recommend people going who might be interested in any of this.
Let's throw that out. It's virginiaoman.com.
Yeah, it's Virginia, Virginia, like the state. And then my last name is O-M as in Mary, A as in Apple, and N as in Nancy. And .com, virginiaoman.com.
Yeah, I think like, oh man, oh man,
yeah,
you're good.
Yeah, and they can see the videos there. They can get access to that document that's there for them. They can connect with me. That's how a lot of people find me, and it brings me such joy to share this with people. It's incredible. You can't even imagine the life that you can have. It can be beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah, I mean, for you to have experienced what you did, I can't imagine not wanting to shout it out at the top of your lungs. And I'm so proud of you for doing everything that you're doing within that. What is your biggest frustration when you're like, I know I can help this person, but do you see sometimes that they haven't bought in yet?
Oh, yeah. They've been beaten down so much by the psychological exhaustion of depression that takes away hope. And so they're seeing the world just in a very limited view. And they're seeing the world through the filters of whatever their negative self statements are. So that's one of the first things that we'll do in therapy is go and find those and identify those. And then I give them a tool about how to work with those and understand how that colors everything you see, every moment of every day. Because that's the lens we all look at life with. If we're looking at our daily life through the lens of, I'm not important, I'm not valuable, there's no hope, life is scary, whatever it is, wow, the difference in what you will see, what you will feel on a moment by moment basis is light years away from what is actually your own birthright, to be joyous and have as much happiness and fulfillment as you want. You know, you are limitless. Life is limitless. And I love helping people find what their purpose in life is, what their dream is, what their passions are, and helping them to realize them. I just helped a teacher who's, because of COVID and all the, oh my gosh, there's so many teachers that have come for mental health therapy through the COVID situation because of being overwhelmed, feeling cut off, overworked, underpaid, even more so than they were before. And, just working with one of those teachers who had so much depression and so much anxiety that it was making her feel that she couldn't function in life. It was taking a toll on her relationship and obviously her job. And so seeing her, not only we graduated her out of that, that feeling of hopelessness and understanding what her self-negative statements were, moving beyond those. And then we had her listen to what she wanted for herself and create her life's dream of what she wanted to be doing. And we created that. And step by step, and now she's her own independent business entrepreneur doing what she loves, and just feeling, I had a graduation ceremony for her just about 3 weeks ago. She came from where she came from to me in therapy to where she is now and not needing my services anymore. It's just incredible what people can do.
Oh, that is amazing. And for anyone going, again, I feel like I keep saying this. Yeah, that works for them, but not for me. Have you ever met a lost cause?
No, I have never met a lost cause.
I keep asking that. I had another therapist say, I've never met a lost cause. And now it makes me want to ask every professional, because if maybe we keep hearing that there is no lost causes, then we can also put ourselves in that category of hope.
Yeah. And I'd have to add to that, if there's a therapist that says, yes, I've met a lost cause, I'd say they're a lousy therapist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that, because I'm even transferring that over into whether it's dietitian, personal trainer, occupational therapist, anybody who works with people. I think we're all in our profession, hopefully believing that we can change the world one person at a time, but we need our clients to believe that too.
Yeah, and you certainly see this all the time. One of the things off your website that I got was accountability coach for you. And accountability is so important for motivation. And the first thing that I thought of when I read your accountability was, why is accountability important? Well, you have to be able to find your why, to find your goal, to find your mission, what you want, that it's so important that you'll do anything for it, like where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And to keep, when you have a plan and you know how and where you're going, what you're doing, it makes it so much easier to stay accountable. And to me, the most important person that you need to be accountable to is yourself.
Yes.
And so staying motivated, staying the course, even if you're working with a coach or whoever it is to help you with that accountability, is so important. Because the minute we give up, we kind of show ourselves that, oh, see, it didn't work. See, I can't do it. We just kind of start believing in all those old negative statements again. Mm-hmm. And that will take you nowhere but down. Absolutely. So I love that you have accountability, and also direction, not perfection. Absolutely. Focus on the path, focus on the daily, everything that I was doing when I was describing the pool work, focus on each small step every day. And just know that through the compound effect, which I talk a lot about, what happens is you don't have to make big steps, big changes. Little things done consistently over time will take you to a huge opening in your future to living a life of just incredibleness that you won't even believe.
Right. I 100% agree. And I believe strongly too that, we're both coaches and that we can help fill that gap where you're doing the actions and you're not seeing it. It's just incredibly helpful to have somebody else externally saying, keep going, you're doing it. We're seeing normal, like we can see results typically before the client can. Yep. And we need that, because I think you're a little bit of an anomaly getting in there in the pool, doing all this work and being able to vocally say, I couldn't see results initially, because you could have come back on yourself and said, this is too hard and it's not even working. What am I doing? And again, your intuition and being able to follow that got you to that next step where you could see it. But for anyone listening who has been on a bit of that journey and not seeing it, and that's your fall off, grab a Virginia, grab that coach who can
just grab a Lindsay too.
Yeah. We don't have to do this alone, right?
I know we don't. And we're not supposed to in life.
Right.
So
right.
I didn't have a Lindsay to go to. This was way back, and I didn't have access. I don't know if there were things back then like life coaches, but it wouldn't have occurred to me to look in that direction. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to say was, one of your podcasts I noticed was entitled "One Workout Away from a Good Mood." Oh, absolutely. What I tell all my clients, no matter what they're dealing with, it's all about movement. We, as Homo sapiens, we were designed to move. And just about every single ailment, physically, psychologically, whatever, that you can think of is because we're not moving enough. We're not moving enough. And one of the real areas that gets a hit when we don't move is our psyche and our emotions. Everything tanks when we don't move. And I don't even, a lot of people they're so put off by the word exercise. So I just call it movement, because that's exactly what exercise is. It's moving. And when I get, and I prescribe that to all my clients, movement every day, especially if they can get outside to see the sky and the trees and connect, just have that brief connection with nature.
I feel like this is a little bit of the aftermath of this diet mentality that has happened, is that because we have had generations been taught to look at calorie burn for everything from food to fitness, it's like damaged good old movement, because exactly to your point, like it can decrease depression. It can decrease chances of dementia by 68%. Like if we could focus on that and just change our whole perception around it. And so I thank you. I love that you are bringing up the fact that movement plays into psychology big time.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, when I list with my clients, I teach fitness classes to people who need motivation for working out. And one of my first ones is called The Magic of Movement. And one of the first things I say, and when I come into class, is imagine you don't know who I am, and imagine I'm a researcher and scientist and anthropologist. I just came back from the Himalayas, and I spoke to a person there who has been called the wisest person on earth. And I found out from them what is the answer to wellness? What is the answer to happiness? Where does that all come from? And I bring it back to the United States and I say to them, what if I could tell you that I have this knowledge to share with you? And what if I told you it was free, totally accessible, totally holistic and safe? Would you be interested in knowing what it is? And so we go from there. But, a big piece of that is movement. Movement.
Do you do any of your fitness classes online?
Thank you for saying that. I probably should. I was doing them live, and I'm a personal fitness trainer at the downtown YMCA of Asheville, North Carolina. And I was giving them several times a year, and they were so popular. People would come and sign up for them again to take them again. And so, yeah, you're probably right. That would be a good thing for me to do. Thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I already want you for my powerhouse community, my membership women. I feel like we would love bringing you on and taking a course or a class like this. So don't let that one go.
Okay, I won't.
I always end like this, but if you could wrap your arms around our listeners and give them that piece of wisdom that you go, I wish you would hear this out of me, what would that be?
Just to say, to hug them and to say, you are a perfect, whole, complete child of the universe, universal spirit of love and light and perfection. And you're just perfect as you are. And you are limitless. Your birthright is to have as much love, acceptance, fun, happiness, fulfillment as you can even imagine. And you can have a life that is far beyond what you've ever even been able to think of so far. It's all right here waiting for you. That's what I would say.
You continue to totally exceed any expectations. You are wonderful. Thank you so much for your time with us today. And we're blessed to have you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah, I look forward to staying in touch with you and hearing more about your work. And yeah, maybe we can collaborate to get this message out to even a broader net of people.
Oh, yes. This is not goodbye. This is just until next time.
Okay. Thank you again for this opportunity.